Welcome to another episode of Smart Remarks. I'm your host, Mark Impress Preston. Hurricane Sandy put us out of commission for a week, but I'm back. Let's get down to business. Week 9 was another great week of NFL action, so we're going to get this show kicked off. Okay, and now for our Mark Men segment. First, we're going to give a shout out to Bruce Arians, the interim head coach of the Indianapolis Colts, doing a great job with Chuck Pagano going through the cancer treatment, keeping that team prepared, and with the rookie quarterback Andrew Luck being 5-3 overall for the season, and they're playing at Jacksonville tonight on Thursday night. They're probably going to go 6-3, primed for the playoffs potentially. Who would have thought the Colts with a rookie quarterback picking number 1, only having 2 wins the previous season, would be primed for the playoffs? That's an amazing job. And 2 other individuals that we're going to talk about in this segment, they should be in quarterback jail now. I'm talking about Tony Romo and Mike Vick. 2 quarterbacks that are going to end up playing each other with struggling teams, both at 3 and 5. NFC East rivals. Tony Romo throws so many interceptions. A lot of people think that the Cowboys are very talented. A lot of people thought the Eagles were very talented, and against the league's worst defense, Mike Vick and the Eagles could only put up 13 points. So one of those teams' season is going to be very over, and potentially one of those guys could lose his job at the end of the year as well if either quarterback or either team doesn't get it together. Okay, jumping into our funky bunch for the NFC. At number 5, this team has not been playing great football for the past month, even though they've won 3 out of their last 4 games. And I'm talking about the New York Giants. Eli Manning hasn't really been consistent. The defense has been playing pretty decent, but the secondary just hasn't been playing all that well. Their schedule gets a little bit tougher, so hopefully the G-Men can get it together and make a late run as the defending Super Bowl champions. And at number 4, I have Aaron Rodgers and that Green Bay Packer offense. Different receivers have been out for the Packers, and different guys continue to step up and help out Aaron Rodgers. And hopefully soon they will get Charles Woodson back on defense to kind of tighten their ship and get ready for a playoff run as well. And at number 3, I have the San Francisco 49ers. They've been playing great defense as of late, getting back to running the football. Alex Smith has been doing a great job managing the football games. And at number 2, I have the Chicago Bears, whose defense is really probably the most dangerous scoring defense that I have ever seen in the National Football League. These guys continue to force turnovers, get interceptions, make fumbles, and they take them back for touchdowns. They have been hellacious all year, and Jay Cutler, Matt Forte, Brandon Marshall on offense, they've been doing what they have to do, and there's always the dangerous Devin Hester on special teams. And at number 1, still got to give this team a lot of respect. They're undefeated. They've beaten everyone that's been put in front of them. The 8-0 Atlanta Falcons with Matt Ryan at the quarterback position, who's probably an early on favorite to be an MVP. Okay, jumping into our funky bunch for the AFC at the number 5 spot, gotta give props to Mike Tomlin, Ben Roethlisberger, and the Pittsburgh Steelers going into the Giants Stadium, handling business, coming from behind in the 4th quarter with a big-time performance. Probably should have been way worse than what the score actually indicated. This team starting to take form and show the championship resilience that it's always had under Mike Tomlin. Number 4, gotta put Peyton Manning and the Denver Broncos. That offense is really starting to click under Peyton Manning's leadership. Demetrius Thomas, Eric Decker, and always Brandon Stokely. Those guys are really stepping up at the wide receiver positions. Peyton Manning's got that offensive line, that whole entire organization on point for the move to bring him in. At number 3, Bill Belichick, Tom Brady, New England Patriots, always a staple when you talk about elite teams in the AFC, continuing to dominate as far as putting themselves in good position to make a great playoff run. That young defense, Chandler Jones leading all the NFL rookies with 6 sacks on the year, starting to take some shape. Number 2, got to have the Baltimore Ravens there. Joe Flacco, Anquan Bolden, Ray Rice, those guys are playing great, even though they don't have Ray Lewis at the moment. T. Sizzle's back, Terrell Suggs is back, and that defense is going to continue to try and find a way to get it together for the playoffs, even though they aren't playing at the level they usually are right now. And at number 1, still got to give the Houston Texans, 7-1, the best record in the AFC. Matt Schaub, really probably the best underrated quarterback in the league. He's on fire. Owen Daniels, Andre Johnson, Ben Tate, and with that running game, along with Arian Foster as well, running the football, the Texans are playing great. J.J. Watt on defense with all this. He leads the NFL in sacks as well as batting balls down at the line of scrimmage. Those guys are just playing excellent football on both sides of the ball right now. Okay, now for some smart picks. Last week, Hurricane Mark Impress rolled through right after Sandy with his picks, and I went 10-4, so that's a pretty great week for myself, and I'm going to keep the momentum going. Sunday night football, you have the Houston Texans going to the Chicago Bears. Personally, get your popcorn ready. I can't wait for this game. I'm going to pick the Houston Texans. They're the best team probably in the league if you include both conferences, in my opinion. I just think they're going to continue to play mistake-free football and continue to play great defense in what should be really a compelling football game to watch, whether you're a fan of these teams or not. And I have a couple of upsets I'm going to pick for you this week, and not really a lot of interesting games to choose from, but I can tell you one thing. The Giants have not been playing good football as of late. As I said earlier, they're going to Cincinnati to play a 4-5 Bengals team, and these Tigers, they're going to show their stripes in this game, and I have the Bengals beating the New York Giants this week, as well as the undefeated Falcons going to New Orleans to play a resurgent 3-5 Saints team that whooped all over the Eagles. I think Drew Brees and company have something for Mike Smith and Matt Ryan and the Falcons, so I think the Saints are going to win that game as well. Okay, now for the question mark segment. A question that I had to ask myself after these past 2 weeks of NFL action is, what team outside of the Funky Bunch can I see making a run, getting into the Funky Bunch, and really making a deep run in the playoffs? And if you look at both conferences, starting with the NFC, you look at the Seattle Seahawks, who I thought would be a pretty decent team with that rookie quarterback, great running game, and great defense. They're 5-4 right now. Watch out for Seattle down the stretch. They're a good team at home. They can figure out how to kind of translate what they do in front of their home crowd to a couple of extra road victories. This team will sneak into that number 6 spot in the playoffs and give a lot of teams trouble. As well as the San Diego Chargers. That team is at 4-4 right now, and everyone knows usually Phillip Rivers and that San Diego Charger team plays better in November and December heading into the playoffs than they do at the beginning of the year. They're still in good enough position to make a run for not only the division title, but possibly slip into one of those wild card spots. So look out for the Chargers and the Seahawks during the second half of the NFL season. So that concludes another episode of Smart Remarks. I want to thank everybody for watching. Be safe. Pray for everybody that's been affected by the Hurricane Sandy. Everyone in the Northeast, watch out for this snowstorm that's supposed to be coming through our way. Till then, I'm going to take a knee here. See you next week.